Week 15 of the 2025 NFL season is here. As teams are looking to clinch a playoff spot, we're looking to clinch a lock. This is your only place to get your 16-leg, low-stakes, high-reward, moneyline parlay. This is the Sunday Script. All right, everyone, welcome back. Week 15 of the Sunday Script. Like I said, teams looking to clinch their playoff spot, and we might have some teams, being able to do that this week, depending on wins and losses. And no more buys, so we have full 16-leg slates for you. It just means that the parlay becomes more immaculate when we hit it, right? A full 16-legger.
Oh, yeah.
Not a wimpy 13-legger or a wimpy 14-legger. A full 16 legs this week, which is great for us because we get to consume more football, provide more content for the scripties and the fans, and you guys get to watch more football too. So it's a great thing for everyone.
The most wonderful time of the year.
It is. It is the most wonderful time of year, especially as we come here up on Scriptmas, right? So, but we'll get into it. Week 15 with the good old-fashioned Thursday night rinse. Falcons go into Tampa Bay for the second meeting in this divisional matchup on the Thursday night rinse. The last time these teams played was week 1, so some preseason action there, right? So two very different teams at that point in the season, as always. But Atlanta put up, nearly 100 more rushing yards on Tampa in that game, but Tampa dominated the time of possession, Atlanta did, and they still lost, right? Baker made that great play at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And the Bucs have been dogged by injuries literally all season. A lack of talented depth kind of caught up to them on Sunday when they lose to, the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you're supposed to be, like I said, week 1.
Yeah.
One of the best teams in the NFC, and you're losing to the baby food eater in Tyler Shuck, right? But kudos to them, and we'll talk about them later. They allowed 17 points in the second half in a 24-20 loss, and somehow they still own first place right now because they have the tiebreaker with Carolina.
Yeah.
So Carolina's approaching. They were on a bye last week, and the Falcons were, talking about teams making the playoffs. Falcons were eliminated from playoff consideration on Sunday, meaning Raheem Morris and the fellas are just playing for their jobs at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Playing for, putting stuff on tape. And if this matchup happened a few weeks ago, the Falcons might be able to pull off a win. Maybe if they had Penix playing, but even then, he sucks too. However, the Buccaneers' offense is much healthier than it used to be and should be able to pull out a close one, I think, here on the Thursday night rinse. So we're going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week on the Sunday Script.
Absolutely. This is definitely going to be a get-right game for what's turning out to be the Succaneers because off the bye, they're 4 losses out of their last 5 games. Off the bye, too. All their playmakers are back, and then you just let Buckashuck run all over you. It doesn't really make sense. They're not clicking. I think Baker's playing with a lingering injury. Seems like he's not playing to that same MVP level that he was earlier in the year, especially before the bye week. But however, I'll just say that the Falcons suck. It's over for them. They got eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
No one, Penix is out for this season. Cousins is terrible, getting paid way too much money. They had no touchdowns all game. Good defense from Seattle, sure, but no touchdowns all game. Offense isn't clicking. Bijan's not even really rocking the house like he was before.
No.
So we could get another, home Thursday night divisional rinse from the Bucs. They just, rinsed hard to the Saints. It was raining and stuff, but they had opportunities. But we're going to have to lock in the Bucs. It's kind of mandatory. The Falcons suck. And we've been, wrong on the Falcons all year. So who knows?
I don't see Tampa losing 2 divisional games in a row to 2 bad teams.
If they lose this game, then Carolina's going to win the division.
We'll see. We got 4 more weeks left.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, Carolina's probably going to win that division, in my opinion. With that, we're going to move into Cincinnati. Joe Burr is back in action. He's taking on Lamar at his house. Who day? I don't know why they say that still. Ravens get ref-balled. Lose a huge divisional game.
Yeah.
That was heinous. You guys have probably heard about it all over the, NFL media. So We won't get too into it. I think more so than the Isaiah Likely catch, ref ball was the fourth down, the field goal that the Steelers kicked that they called lining up over the center or something.
Yeah.
The Steelers punch in a touchdown.
Yeah.
Absolute ref ball rinse at the end of that game for the Ravens. I feel bad for them because now they're sitting below 500. Playoffs are looking further out of reach. Lamar still seems to step off. Derrick Henry's all right, but he's getting to the washed stage, I would say. And Joe Burr, despite losing that game to the Bills, looks like he's back in action with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, putting up a lot of points against a porous Bills defense. But I think the Bengals are just going to play this one for pride. It's a big divisional game. Plus 2.5 at home. I like them at home. Joe Burr. Leading a brand new team, it looks like, even the defense. So we're going to lock them in at home.
Yeah, both these teams are both under 500, which at the beginning of the year, if you would have said that, you might have been, looked like you were on crack, right? But this is one of the more intriguing games on the schedule just for the AFC North in general for who's going to win that division. And the Ravens come up short again against the Steelers on Sunday, like Carm said, and another poor performance from Lamar. I mean, I'm surprised Lamar's even won an MVP. I mean, that interception he threw to his cousin was horrendous. His cousin's on the Steelers, and he throws him a pick. I mean, he just lobbed the ball up in the air, and there was no one in the area. I mean, classic Lamar rinse, and we see it all the time. And the Baltimore Ravens offense just isn't the same without Lamar before he got hurt with his hamstring injury and then faked his injury and sat out for a little bit. And Derrick Henry's not the X factor he used to be, like you said, definitely washed. So the Ravens have bigger problems other than just being below 500. Lamar needs to get fully healthy, and they don't have time for him to do that in the season, and Derrick Henry's old. Who else do they have? I mean, Zay Flowers is an okay playmaker, but I would say he's overrated, and Rashad Bateman's okay, and Mark Andrews is getting
Zay
up there.
Flowers made the big play at the end of the game.
Yeah, Zay Flowers is good,
plays.
but, I mean, he's not that number one stud that you would hope that the Ravens would provide for Lamar, right? But
yeah, fair enough.
they go into Hydrate, and I'm actually going to blame, Carm said Joe Burrow's been playing well. I'm going to blame last week's loss on Joe Burrow for that horrendous interception he threw in that snowy mess in Buffalo. He pretty much just lobbed the dude the ball. I don't really know what he was thinking there. Maybe his steel plate in his foot, in his cleat that they put in there.
Got cold
maybe impacted
something.
that. Maybe got a little chilly and messed him up a little bit. But this sets us up for a Cincinnati win at home. I think Joe Burrow and company doing just enough to replicate what they did on Thanksgiving Day, and we're going to see Lamar continue to struggle. And this is going to be one of Lamar's worst seasons, and I'm very glad to see it. We're going to take Hydrate. We're going to take the Bengals for sure this week on the Sunday script. That's going to move us into two teams that are really struggling at the moment, right? We got the Raiders going into Philadelphia. Eagles are coming off their third straight loss, right? Mm-hmm. So, problems in paradise for the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts, with the rinse of the week, throwing 4 picks.
Yeah.
Right? The Eagles have to fix whatever is going to ail them, what's ever ailing them at the moment. And clearly it's the run game in the offensive line. Saquon Barkley is inconsistent. He doesn't show up, and
He showed up last week.
Yeah, well,
Last night.
Well, not enough. Clearly, they should just keep giving him the ball because Jalen Hurts is a rinse lord.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What are you gonna do?
But the weather's going to be on their side against the Raiders team, who has lost 7 in a row. So I don't even think that's going to matter. I don't think they need the weather. It could be a beautiful, gorgeous day, and Philadelphia should be able to kick the shit out of the Raiders.
Yeah.
I don't know where Geno goes next year. Maybe Daniel Jones is still hurt at the beginning of the year, and he starts like 3 games for Indianapolis. Maybe Shedeur rinses until the end of the year, and he's in Cleveland next year. There's a lot of possibilities there with what Geno's going to do. I think he should opt in for retirement, and I think Pete Carroll should also opt in for retirement and take advantage of his AARP benefits. We're going to take the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're going to fly Eagles fly to beat one of the worst teams of football in the Las Vegas Raiders this week.
Yeah, the Raiders are just so bad. I mean, the Eagles have their own problems, but the Raiders have done absolutely nothing. Ashton Genty's the one beacon of hope, I guess, but he's working with more yards after contact than total yards in a game. So he's getting hit behind the line every single play, every single time he gets the ball, and it's really not fair to him to waste his young talent. They need to get a quarterback. They need an offensive coordinator. They need to fire Pete Carroll. He's too geriatric and doesn't know how to, build the offense anymore. So that's really all I have to say about the Raiders. Eugene also left with a shoulder injury. Don't know if he's going to play. Kenny Pickett scores a garbage time touchdown. So
yeah, and then they get that garbage time field goal at the end to rinse the spread. If you took who did they play? Denver. If you took Denver 7.5,
yeah, they literally just fucked
the spread on purpose.
The bet on them. Yeah. So I'm losing interest in the Raiders. They're probably going to get the number 1 overall pick with that Titans win yesterday.
Yeah.
But just abysmal performance by the Eagles on Monday night. Yikes. Tim got into it a little bit. Jalen Hurts was lost out there. He was throwing picks left and right. They had, and the Chargers weren't too much better, actually.
No.
Chargers are turning the ball over a lot, too. There was one point in that game, 5 turnovers in 11 minutes. Sloppy.
Well, do they count that play as like 3 turnovers?
They did, but it was still like 2 extra ones in between. And then Jalen Hurts is throwing picks in the 5th quarter of the game. Like, he can't stop. I don't know. It was one of those nights. He looked lost out there.
Yeah.
They might have a Jalen Hurts problem, not being covered up by the baby food eater anymore, who's now in Nolans. But as you were saying, Saquon hasn't been a factor all year, but he did get going last night. But it was just completely negated by 4 interceptions by your quarterback. Can't do much to fight that. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to have another 4 interception performance. So he has to be like Darnold, right? I don't think he's as good as Darnold, but it'll be like Darnold. He'll throw 4 picks, and then he'll go and beat up the Raiders and
get right game.
And get right.
Yeah.
So we're going to lock in the Eagles on that one at home. Get right game.
Nick's favorite saying.
Yeah, Nick loves the get right game, don't you?
No, actually, I'm strongly against the term get right game.
Why?
It just makes no sense because you can be so shitty all season and then have your get right game and still be shitty after. Obviously, you didn't get right.
Fair enough.
That's a good point, but this is a great get right game for the Eagles.
This is a get right game for the Eagles, though. Anyway, we're going into Houston. They are taking on the Cardinals, not in the red zone, unfortunately. We love the red zone. Texans are -9.5, and I still not sold on their offense. It's a lot of points to cover for their offense, and we have, record setter Jacobo on the other side of the ball. He might dice up this Texans defense. Maybe he's the first one to do it. Nick, what do you think? First one to really get after this historic Titans defense, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been day one. Jacoby Brissett is the man with the plan. He's calm under pressure. The Texans have a pretty good defense, but I mean, they can't beat Brissett. I mean, he's the man. He makes the plays, and he stepped up when other people weren't able to. So I think there's a strong possibility that he's gonna completely rinse our script and lead the Cardinals to the dub this week.
Yeah, I don't know. That Texans defense just made Mahomes look like a bot. And sorry, Jacoby Brissett, we love you on the show, man. We do, but you're not Mahomes. They've only given up 200 passing yards twice this season, and one was to Stat Padford. Cardinals just got embarrassed at home too, so Jacobo had an all right game, but team's given up. I think they're out of the playoffs. Nothing's really going for them. I think the Texans are going to come in here and keep their win streak alive. That defense is cooking. CJ Stroud's catching his stride a little bit. Let's lock in the Texans at home.
Yeah, can the Cardinals really upset the Texans on the road? If they keep playing like they did last week against the Rams, probably not.
No.
Or I guess like they've been playing any other week in the NFL so far this season. Losing 45-17 is a bad look for Jonathan Gannon, and I've been saying since week 1 his job is as good as gone. Each week that just solidifies my take, and it doesn't matter if Kyler Murray was the quarterback of this team. I mean, Kyler Murray's a little guard gnome running around and rinsing, so that wouldn't even have made a difference either. And the Texans, meanwhile, slayed the demon. Patrick Mahomes, and on Sunday night, and they beat Kansas City 20-10, right? And the Texans are the best defense in the NFL, 16 points per game and 263 yards per game. And they handed Patrick Mahomes one of his worst outings of his career, forcing 3 interceptions. And if they can do that to Mahomes, watch out, Jacobo. That's all I'm going to say. Although Patrick Mahomes does not have the completion record, so we'll put that out there. But the Texans defense emerges as a dominant force here, and they're going to harass Jacoby Brissett all day. We're going to take the Houston Texans, even if their offense isn't where it needs to be. It can definitely still keep up with the defense. It's not like the defense is completely carrying them in games. It just helps that you have a fantastic one, right? So we'll lock the horns and we'll take the Houston Texans this week.
This episode of the Sunday Script is brought to you by Sentence Enhancers. Words are tools. Some cut deep and other build bridges. In this book, it'll help you recognize new words to use, as well as help you improve your communication both at work and in everyday life. Buy Sentence Enhancers now on Amazon.
But that's going to move us into an AFC West matchup. The Chiefs are -4.5 against the Chargers. So even the Chiefs are coming off these losses. They're giving the Chargers the underdog here, right? Even though the Chargers have a much better record at this point. I guess people still believe in the Chiefs, but I'll get into that here.
Divisional.
Right? Yeah, that's
Arrowhead.
That's the big part of it, right? But for the first time since 2015, a team other than the Kansas City Chiefs will win the AFC West. And it's looking right now to be the Denver Broncos, but we'll get into them later. And the Chiefs have lost 4 of their last 5 games and are hanging on to a very, very slim playoff hopes. If they lose another one, then they are definitely done. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes, worst outing of his career against the Texans. And unfortunately for Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Mahomes, and Andy Reid's fat ass, the Chargers bring the NFL number 3 defense into Arrowhead. And if Mahomes looked like that against the number 1 defense, what is he going to look like against the number 3 defense, right? And especially because they lost another left tackle. So their offensive line is depleted for sure. And the Bolts are beating Philly on Monday Night Football like we predicted. So, shout out to us because we predicted that here in the Sunday script. But, we've been saying all year, the O-line's an issue for Harbaugh and Herbert, the O-line. But they still find ways to win games, When you got Sherbert and you got Harbaugh, when you got a great mind and a great quarterback, you can get shit done for sure, right? Regardless of the O-line. So we're going to take the Chargers as the underdogs here to kind of bury the Kansas City Chiefs. I wouldn't say it's going to bury their dynasty because they can always come back next year and be fantastic, but bury them this year for sure. We're going to take the Chargers this week.
Yeah, taking the Chargers this week. They looked pretty freaking good on Monday Night Football against the Eagles. The Eagles have been in shambles all season. Don't know how well that win is going to age, but Justin Sherbert was making plays with a broken hand. He was getting pressured like 70% of his dropbacks last night against the Eagles and still just making plays, gets it done in overtime. Yeah. Travis Kelce, on the other hand, is looking old and washed. Another bobbled pass into the arms of the defense from Travis Kelce to really cost them the game. He did it against the Eagles, did it against someone else, then he did it against the Texans as well. And just not playing his best football anymore. So the Taylor Swift eras might be
Thank
over
God.
in Kansas City. So they lost another tackle too, as Tim mentioned. That's going to be big. Chargers defense isn't really a joke, and I feel like people are kind of sleeping on them. So Chargers are flying across the country, something we always talk about. And I have been touting the Chiefs defense. I think their defense is still very good. Are they going to be able to protect Justin Sherbert in Arrowhead? It's getting loud. Who knows? Joe Alt's still out. Omarion Hampton did come back. He had a solid game. So he's going to be able to open up the defense a little bit more for Justin Herbert. Going to lock in the Chargers. I think they're on a roll a little bit right now. Just knocked off the Eagles. They'll get it done. Question for Nick. Do you think that the Chiefs' lackluster season and probable playoff after 10 years of dominance, what do you think about it? The dynasty might be coming to a close.
Yeah, I think it was a long time coming. I mean, no one can hold the throne for that long. I mean, even Brady had his ups and downs while he was on New England. So I think what we're about to see is the beginning of a new era where it allows other teams to kind of get their shot at the bowl. While in the meantime, the Chiefs keep trying to do what they've been doing and do it right. And hopefully rebuild a team for probably 2-3 years down the line and then try to make another shot at something that could be in the same ballpark of what everyone expects him to be now.
Yeah, that's a great point, Nick, especially because Mahomes is going nowhere. Like Mahomes is still going to be a Kansas City Chief. He'll probably retire Kansas City Chief. I'd be surprised if he didn't, but
they said that about Rodgers.
They did say that about Rodgers,
Brady.
Is Mahomes doing ayahuasca?
No.
I don't know. Send him to the Dolphins. I'm sure they'll appreciate him more.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever. Forget the Dolphins. Let's talk about them. Moving into the New England region, into Foxborough, Massachusetts, the Patriots, 11-2, off their bye week, are hosting their division rivals, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is doing his Mahomes impression better than Mahomes this season and just single-handedly willing his team to victory. It has been fun to watch. The Bills have made some big adjustments, but they're still kind of lacking on the defensive side of the ball. And really their offense has just been Josh Allen making plays through the air with his legs, extending plays. Generational talent, really, really fun to watch. He's been getting their offense going. You can't even count on James Cook anymore because he's, doing his Amiri DiMercato impression, throwing the ball out of the back of the end zone. So, you can't do it. Patriots just kicked the shit out of the Giants though, and then got a bye week. So that was like a double bye week almost.
So they can eat all their cake.
Yeah. Yeah, so like you will say the cakewalk, but I mean they kicked the shit out of the Giants, dude. Bad. Drake May's looking really good, and he's definitely hands down the best quarterback out of that draft class. He makes a lot more than 50% of his throws, like someone like the Bears quarterback, for instance, same draft class, who's drafted higher actually. But the Bills are gonna want this game more than the Patriots, and the Bills shot themselves in the foot with penalties and errors last game at home. They're going to want to get this one back on the road. Only giving them -1.5, and the Bills are favored. I kind of like it. Lock in the Bills.
Yeah, Patriots have won 10 games in a row, and they had a week off to rest for this game, like Carm said, kicking the shit out of the Giants. But, anyone could probably kick the shit out of the Giants when, Young Hoku is, kicking the ground and Fart's getting rocked out in the sideline. They have an interim head coach, and, they're in complete shambles. So congrats, New England. You beat another dog shit team. And, look at their cakewalk schedule. If I told you all the stats going into this, you might think this would be an easy Patriots win. But the last time these two teams met, it was, turnovers won the game for New England for sure, right? And, don't be fooled by the Mickey Mouse record by the Patriots. They have statistically and objectively played the easiest schedule in football by a complete mile, inflating Drake May's completion percentage for sure. Every week, man. Every week they play 2-win teams. And they beat the Bills you beat the Bills, okay?
It's a good
Buffalo.
win.
Sure, that's their one good win. I'm not even going to consider Tampa a good win anymore. Look at the Bucs; they're in complete shambles now too. So you're going to get the Bills this time, and I don't see them winning 15 games this year and going 15-2. They're a good team, but 15 games is a lot to ask for from a young New England team.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot to ask for a
true.
young New England team, and I don't see them winning 11 games in a row. They're due for one, and Josh Allen should definitely carry Buffalo to another win. So we're going to take the Buffalo Bills. But Nick, I know when we were discussing this game, you said, you're due for a loss. Oh, you're due for this, due for that. And you didn't like that logic. So what's the thought process behind that?
My thought process behind the whole due thing is like you're the gambler at the machine, pulling the lever. You just put your last dollar in and you've been losing all money all night.
But you're due.
Yeah, you're due to lose all your money. So that's why I don't like that logic. I've seen people just sit at those machines for hours, rinse pensions, paychecks, and everything in between. So I think it's going to be a close game all in all. I think the Bills definitely want to win more than the Patriots because the Patriots have always been kind of a successful team. And, Drake May this year kind of like locked it in despite his cakewalk. But, I just feel like the Bills are a little bit hungrier. They got a little bit more to prove and, they're not as hoity-toity as the folk out east.
I think I think that's right, Nick. And you say you've seen people lose their pensions, blah blah blah. But 90% of gamblers quit before they hit it big. So
never forget.
You can take that into consideration as well. But that's gonna move us into the Jets flying into Duval County. This is a -12.5 spread for the Jets going into Jackson's cell. And the Jets on Sunday extend their run to 57 seasons without a Super Bowl and 15 seasons without a playoff appearance. So just end the suffering. I don't think it'll end next year for sure, unless you want to take that kid from Indiana, but good luck with that. He sucks. A 34-10 loss to the Dolphins mathematically eliminates them from the playoffs. And we'll talk about the Dolphs later, but I guess shout out to the Dolphs. And, the Jets used 3 quarterbacks against Miami on Sunday. And, the saying, there's nothing worse than having one quarterback, right? The only thing worse than having one quarterback is having 2 quarterbacks.
Why?
Because when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Because you're always indecisive on who's going to start, quarterback controversy. But what's worse than 2 quarterbacks is 3. So the New York Jets currently don't have a quarterback to even, suit up that they have confidence in. Tyrod's going to be hurt again. So good luck to the Jets for the rest of the season. Just play for your draft positioning. And you should have been kind of doing that for the whole year at this point. But Jacksonville, the Jags are coming off beating Riley Leonard and the Colts. Congrats. Riley Leonard was a 6th-round pick for a reason, and he sucked at Notre Dame and rinsed them. So, Good job for that. And Jacksonville will be able to run all over the New York Jets defense. And Trevor Lawrence should have a clean pocket to attack those corners for the Jets. They don't have, what's his name? Ahmed Gardner. Yeah, Ahmed Gardner anymore. And even then, he's hurt. So good job to the Colts also. But we'll talk about them later. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them later too. And we're gonna take the Jags. I mean, this is an easy pick for us money line wise. I don't love the spread just because Trevor sucks, but this is a good. It's a good pick. Jags, take them.
Yeah, take the Jags for sure. Minus 12.5. I agree with Tim. Is a lot to ask for from Trevor Lawrence, but we will see Jaguars blow out the Colts in Duval, as we called. I think they were like minus 1.5. Partially helped out by the Daniel Jones injury, but Daniel Jones was rinsing anyway. He threw an interception like one of the 2 drives he played, and I knew he was going to go out. I mean, he had a fractured fibula, and then tore his Achilles on his other leg. He was favoring his other leg too much, doing everything with his good leg because he got broken fucking leg on the other side.
Yep.
And then too much strain on your Achilles.
And then he overcompensates like Christian Watson's hamstring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just really just a rinse. And now who are they going to play at quarterback? Who knows? We'll talk about them later. Jags blow them out. The pool was full of piss and Miller Lite. There was rock in there.
Oh yeah.
So, Jags are looking good. Jags have pleasantly surprised me throughout this whole season. I was a lot more down on the Jags. Their defense is good. I like them. I think Trevor Lawrence isn't rinsing as much. Liam Cohen's steering them in the right direction.
Yeah.
Tyrod, early injury in the Dolphins dog walk. So we got to watch Brady Cook. I don't know why he was playing instead of Justin Fields, because Justin Fields sucks. Just end the season, though. Tyrod was their last hope, as I told you guys. And now they got to play with Brady Cook. So no thanks on the Jets. Give me a Duval. Now we got another rinse game. Speaking of 2 teams we were just talking about earlier, the Giants are hosting the Commanders in New Jersey. 3-10, 2-11. Both teams are eliminated from the playoffs, and both teams are battling it out with their blue tent, negotiation tent quarterbacks. They're just playing for pride. It's a divisional game, so I think these guys will still play hard. I'm a big proponent of people, still playing for contracts. This is their job. They can't show up and just not try at all. Otherwise, they're on a contract year. Maybe you're going to be working at Wendy's or something. So who knows?
It's a great place to work.
Huh?
It's a great place to work.
Yeah.
Except for the one on Harlem and Madison.
No, that one sucks.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels is walking a dangerous path to becoming an RG3 three-peat. He's now been injured most of the season, comes back and gets injured again. And speaking of injuries, Zach Ertz just got his knee demolished.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if this is a retirement injury.
Yep.
From what I view as one of the dirtiest hits that I've seen, definitely all season, and just one of the dirtiest hits I've seen live, I think. It was a heinous injury. Don't be surprised if he retires. On the other side of the ball with the Giants, I finally get to discuss Jackson Fart getting obliterated. We were talking about earlier with the Patriots on their first bye week, playing the Giants, obliterates Jackson Fart on a sideline run.
Yeah.
And starts a fracas on the sideline. People are trying to protect their quarterback, yada, yada, yada. No flags because obviously it was a clean hit. Jackson Fart, puts his shoulder down, trying to get big on the 28-year-old, 270-pound, 4'4" running linebacker, and gets sent 5 yards into his own bench.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you had a Hall of Fame coach, John Gruden, telling you that you're playing dangerous.
Yeah.
And the best thing you get to say is, it's my play style. You don't like how I play? This is football. And
yeah.
I get it. But not when you're the 190-pound quarterback and your next best thing is, Jameis Winston.
Hey, now.
Not to hate. I like famous Jameis, but he's on the back nine for sure.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, both Jaden Daniels and Jackson Fart, they're not they like to play like this aggressive play style when Jaden Daniels is a string bean, Jackson Fart's just, average sized dude. Like, you're not a big body like Josh Allen or like,
Cam.
Caleb Williams even.
Yeah.
He's got some extra fucking fluff on him.
Yeah.
But he can stand up in the pocket harder. He can take a hit or two. Even Jordan Love, I know he got injured the last time he ran, but like these bigger quarterbacks that they're just not them.
Drake.
And yeah, Drake may even. He's a big boy. You gotta play softer when you're not that size. That's all I gotta say. I like the commies with Mariota though. Mariota. So we're gonna lock them in.
Yeah. Commanders have lost 8 games in a row, and the Giants have lost 7 in a row. New York is 2-3 at home, and Commanders are 1-6 on the road. So if you skip this game to do some Christmas shopping, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
Neither the New York Giants or the Washington Commanders have particularly like effective defenses right now. So there's a good chance both teams score like 4 touchdowns each, maybe. This will be a high-scoring game for sure, and I think the last team to get the ball wins, and we're gonna assume that's gonna be the Commanders. I think the Commanders are, to go back on this phrase, due for a win.
Yeah.
I don't see the Commanders losing winning 3 games this year. I think they're better coached than that, and I think that the Giants still have interim Mike Kafka coaching. We'll see who the Giants head coach is next year. Maybe it's Halfley, but I don't think that's the right hire considering you need. Well, you would say that because you want him to stay, but he's gone, so sorry about it. But I don't think that's the right hire to make considering you need an offensive mind, right? I don't think bringing in Halfley is the right decision. So
Probably not.
No. We're going to take the Commanders to go into Met Death and get a win. And if Jaden plays, then watch out for another ACL tear or something for Jaden. Something bad. But he should play. I mean, he's young. He's young still. He should play. He lost a lot of time this season, lost a lot of reps. Not that he needs those reps, but he's still a young player, right?
Yeah.
So he still needs to get time on the field.
He needs to bulk up in the offseason.
Yeah, well, that won't happen. But Nick, we were talking about a little bit, do you think Jackson Fart should maybe change his, play style? He's been, he talks like he plays like a big old stinky fart, but then he goes out there and he gets rocked like a little wimpy toot. So what do you think?
I don't think he should change a single thing. I mean, that's good American football right there. I mean, you lower their shoulder, you take the hit. None of this sissy stuff, none of the sissy slides or running out of bounds. I mean, take the hit. I mean, if you're expecting your defense to put a hurt on the other team's offense, then be willing to take the hit when it comes back for you. And I feel like it's very indicative to what a lot of people deal with every day. I mean, there's people going out to work, getting a little injury, not telling anybody because they got to work. They got to keep putting up the numbers. But they keep it to themselves. They do their job. They get in, they get out, and they show everyone how it's done. I mean, sure, he didn't have to go flying around. He is pretty light. I mean, he probably flew away like a piece of paper in the wind. But at the same time, that's what I want to see more from the NFL. Just good American football being played all around.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Nick.
I agree. It was a legal hit.
It was a legal hit.
Yeah,
it was a nice
hit.
Sure. It was a nice hit.
As a fan of defense,
you got to take some things into consideration when you're the franchise focus, right? But that's going to move us into the shit stain. Browns going into Chicago this week at Soldier Field against the Bears. The Browns have met. They met mathematical elimination on Sunday with their 31-29 loss to the 2-11 Titans. Which I hinted last week. I didn't think the Titans were going to lose, 16 games, but and they ended up not doing it. And everyone's glazing the fuck out of Shadur when he had to come back in a losing effort against a one-win team that has the worst statistical. They have the worst statistical metric in every category.
Yeah,
I mean that team is god awful, and Shadur throws 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and everyone's acting like he's the second coming of Jesus Christ when he's more so probably the fallen Messiah. Because I don't see Shadur Sanders. Being able to replicate that for the next 4 games. They have some more divisional games. And then
they're not playing the Titans.
No, they're not playing the Titans anymore either, right? So that helps, that doesn't help either. And they're coming into Chicago. It's going to be 9 degrees here on Sunday. So have fun with that, Shadur. This is going to be a run-heavy game, I would assume. If we're going to take who's going to pass better in the cold, I'm going to take Caleb over Shadur in that battle. This is a -7.5 spread. I don't like that spread. I think this is probably a lot closer than it is. The Bears coming off that loss to the Packers. This is the whole thing. Is this a trap game? You lose to the Packers, you get Cleveland, and then you get the Packers next week. So is this a shit sandwich, so to say? A cheese sandwich, which would be pretty disgusting, actually. So We're going to take the Bears this week. The Bears are simply the better team, and it's going to be at home. It's going to be cold. I trust Ben to get the boys in the right direction. We're going to take the Bears this week.
A cheese sandwich. Wow. That's a descriptor that I needed today, Tim.
There you go. Only on the Sunday Script can you find descriptions like that.
Yeah, the shit stain in the middle of that cheese sandwich is a Browns who just shit the bed and lost to the worst team in football, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
But both these teams are coming off losses, right? Because the Packers, just rinsed the Bears hard at home. It was awesome. We got to watch the Packers just poop on the Bears. So they're both coming off losses. Bears defense gets exposed, even though they did get one turnover. Give them that. But they couldn't live off the turnover. They got exposed, ran up the score on them. Denzel Ward out. David Njoku out. Big blow to the secondary against the Bears offense, who was running the ball well, passing the ball well at times until the fatal Caleb Williams rinse. So, I think the Bears offense is still rolling. I don't think the Bears are going to go anywhere. And I certainly think they'll be able to beat the Browns at home, which NFL math would say that they wouldn't be able to do because the Browns beat the Packers.
Well, we're not going to do NFL math because we could pull out a whiteboard and that would be a very advanced equation at this stage in the season, and considering who the Packers have lost to as well. So.
Yes, so we could do NFL math, but we're not going to. The Bears are still a solid team. They'll take the Browns on at home. But Nick, we haven't asked in a while, are the Bears back to their old form?
What, their old form, just shit in the bed? Honestly, right now, when it comes to the Bears, this is something I've been talking about all season. I mean, they're doing the little things absolutely wrong. You can ask anybody in the NFL, get 1 yard for a first down, 11 yards to the touchdown. This is a perfect example. We saw it at the Packers game last week. All he had to do was get 1 yard, and I don't know if it's inexperience or incompetence upstairs or downstairs on the field of what led that to happen. But I feel like anybody else in the league could have at least gotten a yard. I mean, their run game got a yard. Put DeAndre Swift in there. He could have got at least 1 yard. And I don't want to say the Bears are back. I think this is just a show of what I've been saying all season, where the Bears just don't have it. They're winning on luck and hope. And anyone that's been to business school knows hope isn't a winning strategy.
All right, Nick. Well, we're still going to lock them in this week.
You still gotta get a script,
sucks. So. Panthers, I was saying earlier, they're looking to win their division, and they got a divisional game. They are visiting Nolans to take on the Saints. Saints are playing hard, and Chuck maybe is, we're talking about the Bears, maybe he is the white Caleb Williams. He had some nice rushing touchdowns last year.
That's just a comparison to other people were saying. I didn't make that up. That's just...
I don't know. I know. Similar gameplay last week. Now I see it. I see the film. Nice runs. Nice play extensions. Maybe Shock was the answer over little baby Rattle.
We'll see.
Who knows? Bucks really shit the bed. Let the Saints hang around. Baby food eater takes advantage. Bucks did kind of, rinse a couple opportunities. It is what it is. The Panthers are coming off the needed bye week. They get Bryce and some others back to 100%. And as I was saying, the Panthers are dangerously close to stealing this division. Bucks could lose against the Falcons, just rinse them hard in the division if the Panthers win this game. It's turning out to be interesting over there.
Yeah.
We'll see. Do we see the Saints stick it to the other division rival at the top of the division, though? Because I did say that could happen, and that is what happened. But maybe Rico's story just runs wild, and we get the Panthers that showed up and beat the Packers and the Rams as well. Because I've been saying they're not too bad. I think at this point in the season, actually, with how the Bucks have been playing, it's safe to say that the Panthers are the best team in that division. They've beaten, like I was saying, some of the better NFC teams, and the Bucks have lost all of their big games. So it's going to be an interesting division. I think the Panthers are going to, have more to play for than the Saints this weekend, and they're going to get it done in the Superdome.
Yeah, the Saints, like we said in the beginning of the show, upset Tampa as 8-point underdogs, but they were still eliminated from the postseason even though they won. So, times have been tough for the baby food eater.
Yeah.
But the Panthers, meanwhile, come off a bye, and they're tied with Tampa, like we said earlier. And the Saints beat the Panthers in the first meeting, right? 17-7. And they forced Bryce Young into 2 turnovers. And, the Panthers are probably ready for Tyler Shuck this time, I would hope, coming off a bye. Right. And a month ago, the Saints took away Carolina's rushing offense. They allowed them 3.2 yards a carry. I don't see that happening again. I think Bryce Young is developing into a very stable quarterback. I don't know if we're getting the inconsistency that we were before. However, we could be wrong, and the Panthers could come out and look like shit next week, and then we're doing the same conversation with the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
So, especially on the road, Bryce Young's road record is not as good, but he's been playing better on the road. So, we're going to take the Panthers. The Saints are mathematically eliminated from anything. This game definitely means more to the Panthers. The only thing the Saints can do is really stick it to them, right? And we're going to take the Panthers, though, for sure. But that's going to move us into whose house? Rams' house. We're going to move into Lions versus Rams. Two trade partners from 2020, I think. 2020, 2021, one of those seasons, right around there, where it seems that both teams benefited from that trade. And we're going to get Goof playing his old team and Stat Padford playing his old team. We'd be more excited about this game if Detroit weren't missing Sam Laporta and multiple starters in the secondary like Brian Branch, right? But Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams, are going to be out there, and they can win their matchups, but these Los Angeles Rams quarterbacks are stingy, and this Los Angeles Rams pass defense is very stingy, which means probably a heavy workload for Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery this week in whose house. But this Rams defense is really just superior to the Lions defense for sure. The Lions defense is in shambles. I mean, their points per game is up there as one of the worst in the NFL. The good thing is they have the offense to keep up with it. And maybe Gamble is starting to come around to his own way of calling plays and his own play style of calling plays. But like we say, when you change play callers mid-season, that usually means you're not making the playoffs.
Yeah,
right.
It's dangerous.
And because of that, we're going to take Stat Padford and the Rams to win in whose house. I don't know if the Detroit Faithful are going to really fly out to LA for that game, but I wouldn't be surprised because it's usually a home game for the away team. But we'll take Stat Padford, Sean McVay, and the Rams this week on the Sunday script.
All right, so the Lions get-right game was in full effect. They did what they wanted to the Cowboys, like Tim was saying. Dan Gamble might be coming into the play-calling role. But despite the win over the Cowboys, the Lions are still in a precarious position. They're 8-5, but, you're expecting to be into a competition with the Packers for the division. Then the Bears win all those games. And now you're looking like you might not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So every game's kind of must win for them at this point. You can't really count on the Packers or Bears losing too many more games, especially when you're third place in the division. So too bad for them because we're going to be taking the Rams to beat them. I like Stat Padford. I think the Rams got the better end of that trade. It is a revenge game for both quarterbacks. Both solid quarterbacks, but Stat Padford, man. What a QB he's always been since he was on the Poverty Lions. So we're going to take the Rams. Whose house?
Rams' house.
I don't know which one I like better. Who day or Rams or whose house?
It's whose house is the right
Whose
answer.
house?
Yeah.
Who day? Probably better. With that, we're going to fly into Seattle. Seattle Seahawks are taking on the Colts, and Colts are a maimed beast now. It's more like the ponies because they just lost their star quarterback, Indianapolis Jones, tore his Achilles in the first quarter. Talked about it a little bit earlier. And because Anthony Richardson demolished his eye with a resistance band, we don't even get to watch him.
No.
So we get some Riley Leonard gameplay rinses against the Jags as expected. And now the breaking news for you guys here is that the Colts have signed out of retirement 44-year-old Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Said he's going to be taking snaps, this week against the Seahawks. I'll believe it when I see it. But he is signed. Colts are 8-1. Excuse me. They started 8-1. But with their upcoming schedule and their quarterback injury, they're looking like they could possibly lose out and miss the playoffs to what started to be a very hot season. Darnold had another good game on the Seahawks. Still needs to clean up some of his, picks and stuff. I'm not terribly sold on Darnold. I've been pretty transparent about that. I think he's all right. He was better with Cock. He's having a good season, though. I'm not entirely sold. Seahawks have proven, though, that they are a complete team. They have a good defense. Darnold can get it done on offense, and their special teams been making these big splash plays for him. That game ended last week with the 100-yard return halftime kickoff.
Yeah,
it just completely demoralized them, and they couldn't come back. So with that, we are going to lock in the Seahawks.
Yeah, so the Indianapolis Jones saga really comes to a grinding halt. We were saying that all year on the Sunday script. If you go back to, weeks 1 through 6 of this show, we've been saying this is all a load of crap. I mean, this is a bunch of, trying to sell us a bunch of bullshit, and we're not going to take it because we knew that Indianapolis Jones was a rinse.
Yeah.
And we knew that the Colts were frauds.
Yeah.
Right? Their schedule was ridiculously easy at the beginning of the season, and we just didn't see it. We really didn't. We know ball, so, of course we were right. And the whole Philip Rivers thing is coming along, and can Grandpa Philip really, which he is a grandfather, so will we actually see Philip Rivers play? We'll just have to see. However, if he does, he's going to play, one of the best defenses in the NFL and the 12th man, right? So they got to go all the way to Seattle. It's a little bit of a flight from Indianapolis to Seattle, regardless of the travel. I mean, the Colts are on the down, the Seahawks are on the up. Seahawks might be the best team in the NFC, and they currently hold the number 1 seed in the NFC, right? So we're going to take the Seattle Seahawks. Should be a good game from Sam Darnold and JSN, and we're going to take them to stay atop the NFC West. And next week we get Rams Seahawks on Thursday night, so that's a little sneak preview here, and that's going to be a great
good game.
That's a great game next week on the Thursday night
divisional
on the Thursday night rinse. Yeah, but that's going to move us into Green Bay going into Denver. Packers are favored at -2.5 against the Broncos. This is going to be a Jim Nantz and Tony Romo game, surprisingly. The Packers are -2.5, right? Like I said earlier, they emerged victorious against the Bears on Sunday at Lambeau Field. The Broncos, they share the best record in the NFL with the New England Patriots, and they own that tiebreaker because they beat the Raiders, right? And the Raiders beat New England week 1, which we predicted on the Sunday script week 1. Green Bay has lost 4 straight on the road to the AFC West. The Broncos are 18.1 points per game. The Packers are 19. So this is going to be a defensive battle for sure. I don't think the Packers have played a defense this good so far this year. And I guess we could say the same for Denver, right? So this is going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know if the over-under is on this, but take the under. We don't do that here anyways. Another fun fact, the Packers are 1-11 in Denver since they lost the Super Bowl to Denver in '98 in John Elway. But we're going to take the Packers this week. Got a close one here. This should be a 1 to 3 point game. 1 to 3 point win for the Packers. But we'll take Green Bay to win this week on the Sunday script.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Broncos is definitely going to be the toughest defensive matchup the Packers have faced. But that is probably up there with the Texans, with one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
I think the Texans are like at another level, but Broncos are playing very well on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
People after last week, I think people do need to put some respect on Jordan Love. He's playing like a top 5 QB. I've been seeing some MVP ads for him. He's got 9 touchdowns, 1 pick in his last 4 games, excuse me. Undefeated in the division. So Toyotathon Love, he's like one of the statistical greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he just pooped on the Bears. So
until he rinses like he always does. So we'll see.
It was fun. I think their offense is rolling now. They got the deep ball going to Christian Watson and Bo Melton. I think that's going to be a lot to handle for even the Broncos defense. And Bo Picks is, still kind of up and down. He has a good game. He has a bad game. I'm not sold on him. We've been saying we're not Bo-leavers necessarily. The jury's out on him still. If he beats the Packers and does it dominantly, I'll probably be a little bit more sold, but he needs to even it out. It's going to be a defensive matchup. Kind of expect more like the Eagles game, I'm imagining, versus the Packers.
I hope not. I hope not for my sake to watch it, because that was the worst game of the year to watch.
On offense. But the Packers did just knock off the top seed in the NFC, and I think they're going to do it in the AFC as well. So we're going to lock in the Packers. Now we got our 2-win Titans taking on San Francisco in Candlestick. Titans pull one out and score, but who cares? Scored more points than they have like all year basically in one game. But whatever, they beat Shadur and the shit stains. So, it is what it is. I'm still down on the Titans. I think they're the worst team in football. And the 49ers are coming off a bye, so they've been dealing with injuries all season. Hopefully they'll be able to get some of their weapons back so they don't have to run everything through CMC. But they probably will do that anyway. It's the Titans. It's the 49ers. The 49ers have been rolling to 9-4 and a very competitive, sneakily competitive team in the NFC. Even with the backup quarterback and, losing Fred Warner and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't trust the Titans. I'll bet against them for the rest of the season. Too bad they rinsed me twice. It is what it is. They're terrible. Lock in the 49ers.
Yeah. I guess fool me twice, shame on, what is it? Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I guess shame on us for not taking the Titans last week. And, not really much to say here about this game. Take the Niners. Good for the Titans to get a win. It's good for a young quarterback to do that, right, and outduel his friend. Him and Chitter are great friends, but take the Niners. They're just the better team. Titans are so horrendous, and they're playing for draft order, not playoff positioning, right? Because they've been eliminated from the playoffs for a while, for some time now. So we're going to take the Niners this week. They're minus 12.5. I think they cover that easily. But that's going to move us into the Sunday night game. Vikings go into Jury World. And Cowboys are minus 5.5, and we're not really putting any real stock into JJ's performance against the worst defense in football.
No.
But we have faith in B-Flow. We have faith in B-Flow, and I haven't lost faith in Cock. I'll never lose faith in Cock. I mean, he won Coach of the Year for a reason, and the hope is that Cock can still fix JJ. And maybe Cock did fix JJ against the Commies, but we'll have to see. And if the Dallas defense, the one concern here is they can cause a lot of problems for the up front Minnesota offensive line, more so than Washington did. That's for sure, right? Because we talked about them; they're the senior home defense. Mm-hmm. If CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee Lamb has a concussion, so if we don't see CeeDee Lamb play this week, we could see a George Pickens double coverage a lot. That leaves Jake Ferguson open, and Javonte Williams is still a good weapon right now. So they have weapons other than, GP, but we're going to take the Minnesota Vikings to go into Jury World and end the season for the Dallas Cowboys, even though their season, the Vikings, has kind of already ended, unless they miraculously win out and then beat Green Bay Week 18 and make the playoffs somehow. But that's not going to happen. We're going to take the Minnesota Vikings in 9 this week on the Sunday Script.
I don't know why we're necessarily taking 9, but call me crazy. It looked like he got fixed by Cock. It's been known to happen. It was the geriatric traveling Commanders defense, so I don't know. But they did pitch a shutout on defense, and that's what I really like about the Purple Boys. Their defense is still really good. B-Flow's cooking. Even a friend of the show, Wrinkle Van Ginkle, he got a pick for us last week. So they're doing well. They made the Commanders look bogus.
Which they are. But
that's really what's selling me here. Because, the Cowboys are good offense, Dak Prescott versus 9, okay, but George Pickens is crying again, and they're going to have to extend him. So are they going to? I don't know. They just rinsed to the Lions. It's another NFC North team. I'm liking 9 in this one. So we'll see what happens. They're also missing Celine Dion too. So it is going to be all on George, who's sobbing.
Yeah.
Against the Vikings D, I like it.
Yeah.
Give me the Vikings.
Yeah.
With that, Nick, question. We were just talking about Georgie Porgy crying. He's been known for a lack of effort on plays that aren't designed to get him the ball, as you've seen before. He's been known for crying about his targets, giving up when he's losing, things like that. He's on a contract year, and his production would say that he's looking at $25, $30, $40 million contract just based on his skill set. Would you pay him?
Absolutely not. No. Can the crybaby, push him down the road, find out who else wants to deal with that problem. I mean, come on now. Even if you produce the world but cry about it the whole time through, I'd rather have 2 people that won't cry, that'll do their job just fine. So honestly, I'd get rid of him. I think this is an obvious call.
Yeah, I agree. I would not sign George.
Well,
Pickens
they can't
again.
anyways, so
Why not?
The contract.
Their money's tied up in Dak and CD.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wouldn't pick them up. Stay away from the Packers. Anyway, we're gonna move into Ackshire Stadium, Tim's favorite
My favorite name stadium, yeah,
in the,
for sure.
in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
Dolphs Elite, Nick. Dolphs Elite. They're rolling on offense. They beat the Jets though. You know, we kind of missed that one. I think it was a little warmer in New Jersey, but it's not going to be in Ackshire. Tua's not gonna be as explosive in the 40-degree New Jersey, you know, as he was in the 40-degree New Jersey.
Yeah.
In the 9-degree Pittsburgh. The Steelers did just get ref-balled the victory, so I'm not really super sold on them. But a lot of traveling for the Dolphins out in the cold. I like the Steelers at home.
Yeah, Steelers stand alone at the top of the AFC North as the only team over 500. And Aaron Rodgers runs his first rushing touchdown in 3 years into the end zone and hits us with the good old-fashioned, was it the discount double belt? What was it?
Yeah,
what was
the discount double check.
Whatever the fuck it was when he was doing those ads and doing that in Green Bay. Dolphins win another game, surprisingly. I'm surprised. We thought that according to Carm, they were going to be the worst team in the NFL, and they're going to have the number one pick in the NFL. And times have changed since week 2 when you made that prediction, right? So how times can change. But this time they'll be playing at night in very cold weather, a loud crowd, and possibly some light snow, which doesn't really happen in Hawaii, doesn't really happen in Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, and does not happen in Miami. Right? So that's not a great career path for Tua when it comes to playing in the cold for sure.
No.
Right? But, hey, man, he gets lived in Hawaii and now he plays in Miami. It's great.
Yeah, it's a great trade-off.
That's a great
places to live.
That's a great
But he had to do a stint in Alabama.
In Tuscaloosa. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We're going to take the Steelers. And surprisingly, I was so down on the Steelers. I didn't think they'd win the North, but it looks like they might. It looks like they just might.
It's looking like it. It's getting interesting, that division as well.
It is.
Lots of interesting divisions.
Yes, for sure. But, Nick, we were talking shit about the Dolphins in the cold weather, but, do they have what it takes to beat the Steelers in even colder weather after whooping the Jets' ass?
Elite.
What are your thoughts on the rest of the season? Win out?
No, the Dolphs are elite. That's why it's a button on the board. Everybody knows it. No one wants to admit it. We saw last week probably what I was saying all year. When the machine's running, it's running fast. 34-10? Come on now. Dolphs elite. Everybody knows it. And just a little cold. All right. Maybe Hawk Tua isn't used to playing when it's nice and cold, but obviously he's going to get all that ice around his neck when he's got that Super Bowl trophy in the bag. So I think this is foolish. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's got it. Honestly, if you looked at his bed sheets, I bet they're full of brown because he's been shit in the bed. So what I think the Dolphs are actually gonna rinse us, like I said earlier, with a different pick. Dolphs elite. Dolphs beat the Steelers. Come on now.
I'd be very surprised if the Dolphins won this game. The complete polar opposite of what you just said. Mike McDaniels might be saving his job, though.
He might be. I said he was going to get fired.
You said he was going to get shit canned.
All my Dolphins takes are aging.
Yeah,
poorly.
he might be saving his job. So some of our takes from before are shit canned, and you can rummage through the garbage to find those.
But however, I'm only going to tell you about my correct takes.
But however, yes, you can also look at our correct takes, too, which are usually always the case. And what we do at the end of the show, right, every week is give our correct takes. So got some great takes from Nick this week, got some great takes from Carm, and some great takes from myself, as always. So we'll get into that with our Week 15 takes here on the Sunday Script. And my take for Week 15 is, I'm going to keep it short and simple like Nick's was last week. Give us the 19th week of the NFL right now. Give us 18-game season so we can have more football. Now, it's coming eventually. We don't know when. The NFLPA is going to have to deal with that. Great, unions are, great. Love unions. But I want more football. And if that means there's 19 weeks and 18 games, and there's 2 buys, then so be it. The people want more football. The owners want more money. The players want more money. So give us 19 weeks and give us 18 games, because I'm also sick of these 17 game records also. The 16 game records, we got so used to the 10-6, right? The 12-4, right? All those records. And then they fucking change it. And now you get 12-5, and it looks crooked. It does. So give us even number of games and give us that 18th game, Roger, please. I ask you from the Sunday script.
All right. And for my take this week, I'm going to talk about the formerly San Diego Chargers. I think that the Chargers, with Justin Herbert at the helm, are a formidable team that has gotten the short end of the stick with a lot of injuries. I think the Chargers have a potential to play themselves into the playoffs. I think Jim Harbaugh, despite missing a lot of tackles, running backs, etc., throughout the season, has made a lot of adjustments for that team. I think they're led well, and the performance that Justin Herbert just put on with a broken hand shows that he is a fearsome competitor, a true leader, and I like where that team is heading. And I liked where they were heading earlier on in the season when they had most of their defense healthy and playing at a high level, because we saw what happened last night now that most of them are back. So I'd like to see where this Chargers team goes, if they can make a playoff push, and next year, be even better, come back healthy in 2026 and really lay it on the AFC. So that's my take this week. Excited for the future of the LA Chargers.
And my take this week is that I think all the NFL players should be juicing, and they should be juicing a lot. I mean, this is supposed to be the top of the league, the best football that the world has to offer, and yet none of them are on juice. I don't believe that. I believe some of them are and some of them aren't, and that's the bigger problem. Everybody should be juiced up. Everyone should be ready to go. Everyone should be angry, running around that field flying. I think it'd be more entertaining for the fans, and the players will enjoy it more too, because they can make better catches. You know, instead of hurdling people, they can catch them in the air and throw them back. I think that just adding a little bit of juice, a gear, whatever you want to call it, to the league is going to make it significantly more entertaining for all the people paying to watch it.
All right, so we will get into the Week 15 rundown here on the Sunday script. Thursday night rinse. We're going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to stay atop of the NFC South. We'll take the Bucs on Thursday night rinse. Ravens, Bengals. Who day, who day, who day. We're going to take Joe Burr and the Bengals this week on the Sunday script. Raiders go into the link. We're going to take Philly in a get-right game. Cardinals, Texans. Texans keep it alive. Cardinals keep getting buried. We're going to take the Houston Texans. Chargers, Chiefs in an AFC West matchup. We're going to take the Bolts. We're going to take the Chargers this week on the Sunday script. Bills, Patriots, AFC East matchup. We'll take the divisional split. We'll take Josh Allen to go into Gillette and get a win. Jets, Jags in Duval. We will take Jackson Sell and the Jaguars to keep the Jets losing this season on the Sunday script. Commanders, Giants in this shitty game. Get the crickets going, but we're going to take the Commies this week on the Sunday script. Browns go into Soldier Field on a cold day. We're going to take the Bears this week on the Sunday script. Panthers, Saints, NFC South matchup. We'll take the Panthers to divisional split this week on the Sunday script. Lions, Rams, revenge game for two quarterbacks. We're going to take the Rams this week in whose house? Colts, Seahawks. We're going to take the Seahawks to beat down on a 44-year-old if Phillip Rivers does play. We'll take Seattle. Packers, Broncos. We will rock with the green and gold to go into Denver in a Super Bowl rematch. Niners, Titans. We will take the Niners. They're minus 12.5. Take the points too if you want. We'll take the Niners this week. Vikings, Cowboys. We will take the Queens to beat the Cowgirls this week on the Sunday script. And the Dolphins go into Ackshire. We are going to take Aaron and the Steelers to get a much-needed win on the Monday Night Finisher this week on the Sunday script. And that is your Week 15 rundown here on the Sunday script. We hope to see you next week, where you will be significantly richer, and so will we. We'll see you next week on the Sunday Script.